I've been married for 12 years. Now my millionaire wife has fallen for the new guy at the front desk of her company. He's almost 40 years old, not as good looking or as fit as I am, but somehow, in just 6 months, he's managed to give my wife a huge amount of emotional support. Megan, I said, still trying to process it. She looked at me warily. If we get divorced, you can have the house and car, Julian. Can you just let me go? I lowered my eyes and replied calmly, okay. Then I went out, bought a calendar, and circled a date. 30 days until the divorce. When I finally pushed the divorce papers toward Megan, it was just 40 minutes after she told me about the affair. According to the agreement, the house, the car, and our child would all be mine. She would pay me a one-time sum of $20 million for compensation and child support. After that, our child and I wouldn't bother her anymore. Megan was in a conference call when she saw the words divorce agreement. Her expression barely changed. She simply nodded and acknowledged it. I left the room. To save us both time, I packed all of Megan's clothes and belongings, 3 whole boxes, just to make sure nothing was missed. I even packed her childhood photos from the attic. Finally, I noticed our wedding photo in the corner. In it, Megan looked spirited and strong, while I smiled gently, holding her in the sunlight. She used to whisper to me, "I love you so much. I'm so lucky to have married you." Megan and I had met in college. Back then, she was a poor girl wearing worn-out sneakers. I had plenty of admirers, but I fell in love with her at first sight. She was calm, ambitious, and beautiful. She had countless qualities I admired. After graduating, marriage felt like the natural step. She started a company with some friends. After she had our child, I became a stay-at-home dad, dedicating myself to Megan, to our home, and to raising our child. As her business grew, Megan had more social events and dinners. I still found time in my busy life to exercise and study fashion and style. Despite her hectic schedule, she never let us down. She always came home to spend time with our child and help with chores. To outsiders, we were the perfect couple, the model marriage. I'm not sure when it started, but Megan began moving her meetings to the evenings. Sometimes she was so busy, she'd spend the night at the office. Friends joked that I should keep an eye on things, but I reassured them nothing would happen, though deep down I was anxious. I even brought Megan and her team late-night snacks several times. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary, just a group of people in a meeting, with that man waiting at the front desk. His name was Owen, around 40, not tall, slim build, short hair, nothing remarkable to look at, but his voice was gentle, surprisingly so. He'd smile and greet me every time. After all these years, I'd always known this day might come, maybe with a savvy male secretary, a college kid full of energy, or an assertive male boss. But I never guessed it would be him, the front desk guy. I'd heard Owen had been married before. His wife cheated, and they divorced. This was his first job since then, and he treasured it. He'd arrive early, learn everyone's habits, and occasionally bake treats. Some colleagues even ordered lunch from him for convenience. When I found out, I mentioned to Megan that he was having a tough time and suggested she cut him some slack. Megan always seemed indifferent, saying the company isn't a place to show sympathy, and advising him not to take side jobs. I even joked that as a boss, she lacked a human touch. In hindsight, maybe she felt bad for Owen working such long hours and still making food for others. As for why Megan chose today to ask for a divorce, it started this morning. I made her a bowl of hangover soup like usual. She stared at it, sighed, and gently pushed it away, silent for a long time before finally looking up with tired eyes. She asked if we could divorce. She admitted the affair had been going on for half a year, that during overtime she'd sneak off to hotels. My heart was shaken. I struggled to stay calm. I asked who it was. When she said Owen, I could hardly believe my ears. An overwhelming sense of helplessness swept over me, a coldness, a chill. When Megan finished her meeting and came out, I'd already eaten, cleaned the kitchen, and was watching a series in the living room, trying to act like nothing had happened. She turned to take a shower, but midway through realized she didn't have a towel and instinctively called out to me from the bathroom, "Where's my towel?" Without turning around, I replied, "I packed it in the boxes. You can use mine for now if you don't mind. I'll toss it later." Silence. When Megan came out, she noticed the 3 boxes by the entrance. She sat across from me and slid the divorce agreement toward me with her fingertip. "I can give you $15 million for support now and the rest monthly," I interrupted. "No, just a lump sum." I'm sure he wouldn't want you to have further contact with me. Megan looked puzzled. The child isn't just yours. I have a right to be part of her life too. I know this is my fault and I'm willing to compensate, but you don't need to use our child as leverage. I paused my show and looked her in the eye. You cheated, so compensation and support are only fair. Compared to your assets, taking the house and car isn't much. Our daughter is high maintenance and sensitive. How much energy can you spare away from your romance to care for her? Being part of her life is more than just money. It's time and presence. Megan was silent for a moment before saying, "There's no way I'd let 20 million sever my bond with our daughter." I flipped open the divorce agreement. The 20 million is for compensation and support. If there are other needs, you can transfer money to her. I'll open a separate account. Megan suddenly smiled. Julian, I never knew you valued money so much. You always talk about it. What else is there? Loving you didn't work, did it? Megan fell silent, her expression stern, and quickly signed the divorce papers. She also arranged for us to go to the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow to finalize the divorce. Then she called a driver. By morning, Megan was gone. My daughter ran out of her room and hugged me, excited to tell me about a dream she'd had that made her really happy. As I listened, I gently mentioned that I might have to travel a lot for work soon. Surprisingly, she didn't ask her usual question, "When will Mom be back?" Instead, she just said, "Oh, that's okay, as long as I have Dad with me." I couldn't hold back my tears. I made an excuse to go to the bathroom to pull myself together. Agreeing to divorce Megan was tough. Along with the sadness came guilt that my daughter wouldn't grow up in a complete family. But I knew this guilt wasn't mine to bear alone. After dropping my daughter off at school, Megan and I went to the registrar's office to apply for a divorce. There's a 30-day cooling-off period before it can be finalized. Back in the car, I marked today on the calendar, 30 days until it's official. I debated whether to tell my parents. I grew up in this city, with all my relatives and friends nearby. My parents are retired teachers, and I'm their only child. They're open-minded, but my dad's health hasn't been great lately. I plan to wait a little longer. A couple of days later, Megan called, which she rarely does. Usually she'd just text, knowing I'd respond quickly. But I had deleted her contact last night. I picked up, and Megan's voice sounded the same as ever. "Julian," she said, "your mom called me. She cooked a lot and wants us to come over for dinner. With your dad's health, maybe we should wait to tell them about the divorce until he's better. What time will we go? Also, next Sunday is your dad's birthday. I can go with you." I was still hesitating about telling my parents until Megan's words made my decision for me. I replied, "No need." Megan said, "No need to be tough. Your parents' health is important." I calmly answered, "If you really cared, you wouldn't have cheated and asked for a divorce now. Sure, my dad's body isn't strong, but his spirit is. He wouldn't want me to stick with a dishonest marriage." Megan, don't call anymore. If you want to see our daughter, follow the agreement once a week. With that, Megan dropped the niceties. Julian, Gina is my daughter to my family, but you gave up on the family she belongs to, didn't you? I shot back. I heard Megan slam the phone before I hung up. Trying to steady my emotions, I headed to the mall, determined to replace everything Megan liked at home: bedding, the sofa, all of it. I wanted everything in stock immediately. After swapping it all out, I cleaned the house and went to visit my mom. She thought Megan was just busy since she didn't come with me. I hesitated, but finally said, "Mom." She noticed something was off right away, stopped what she was doing, and just looked at me. Even though I said nothing, she must have sensed my turmoil and pain. I calmly explained everything. Mom handed me a tissue for my tears and spoke gently, "It's okay. Divorce happens. If she couldn't be faithful, it's better to know sooner. Once it's done, let it be." She took my hand. "Julian, promise me one thing: once you decide to divorce, don't reconcile." I nodded firmly. "I promise." After dinner, Mom and Dad talked privately for a long time. When they came out, Dad gave me a big red envelope. He said, "Today marks a new beginning. It's worth celebrating. My dear son, I hope you'll always be happy." I cried for a long time in my car after leaving my parents' house. I had feared letting them down. They'd had a happy, harmonious marriage. Even when people doubted my marriage to Megan, they respected my choice. Now, seeing Megan's success, people envied us and praised my parents' judgment, yet they still supported our divorce. I wiped my tears and checked the calendar 28 days till the divorce. When I picked up my daughter from school, she told me her grandpa had called, saying he missed her and asked if she could stay for a week. I was a bit stunned, but we packed her suitcase, and she was thrilled. She mentioned Grandpa promised to fly drones with her. After dropping her off, Mom walked me to the door. "Julian, cheer up. Go out and enjoy yourself." She stood in the same spot for a long time, watching me leave. I checked myself in the car mirror. I looked pale and downcast. I freshened up with some skincare, changed into a brighter outfit, and went on a week-long trip. I saw people, places, and heard many stories. I came back feeling better. The calendar now showed 21 days till the divorce. I returned just in time for Dad's birthday. This year, they chose to celebrate at a hotel, inviting family and friends. It was close to home, with 5 tables reserved. Everyone knew each other, and many asked about Megan. Fortunately, my daughter had an activity today, so she wasn't there. My parents didn't directly answer. Before the meal, Dad gave a speech, and that's when Megan arrived. She looked polished, carrying gift bags and a red envelope. Everyone greeted her. She handed Dad the envelope. "Happy birthday, Dad." Dad just gave her a brief glance. "Megan, that's not necessary. We shouldn't trouble you, since you and Julian are divorcing." That left her speechless, and the room went quiet. She whispered, "We're still in discussions." Dad shook his head. "It's all the same. No difference." After saying that, I turned and invited everyone to eat and drink. Megan just stood there, gripping the gift bag tightly. My mom politely returned the other items. She didn't linger, she left. Once she was gone, friends and family, now understanding the situation, didn't bring up Megan again. No one would ask me about her anymore. Good. My mood was slowly coming back to normal. I was accepting it all, letting it sink in. I quickly busied myself. I was thinking about opening a coffee shop. There was a place up for sale, and I was happy with the location and the setup, so I signed the papers. The staff were already there, so we could keep running, but I wanted to tweak the menu and improve the flavors. Then I'd replace the signage, and the furniture. It would start with a soft opening. After setting plans at the store for the whole day, I decided to go home. I glanced at the car calendar, divorce countdown 15 days. Right after I got downstairs, a guy named Nigel from Megan's company called me. He's cheerful, likable, a bit of a goofball. He asked if I was busy. When I said I wasn't, he wasted no time venting, asking if I was divorcing Megan. I didn't hide it. He asked if it was because of Owen. I wasn't sure why he'd say that maybe Megan made it public when I didn't respond. Nigel groaned. "Julian, I knew it was because of that guy. No wonder you haven't brought us afternoon tea lately. I miss your snacks. When Megan and I were together, I used to bring afternoon tea to thank them almost weekly. Some colleagues even joked about staying at the company just for those treats. No worries. I'm opening a coffee shop. You can come by, and I'll treat you," I told him. Nigel let out a wow and quickly asked for the address. I told him I'd send it later. He agreed and continued ranting. "You wouldn't believe Owen. After you stopped coming around, he got a promotion from the reception desk to office manager. His attitude towards everyone changed. He used to greet everyone with a smile, but now he's always looking for trouble, and you can't miss the smugness on his face. He even bought the same style of coat and watch as you. Anyone can see it. What's Megan even thinking? If it weren't for my mortgage, I'd quit just to avoid dealing with him." When I reached my doorstep, Nigel was still talking. I consoled him for a while before he reluctantly hung up. At this point, I honestly didn't care about Owen anymore. Unlike when Megan first told me about her affair, I had no crazy urge to figure out what made him so special. Pushing open the door, I didn't expect to see Megan's shoes there. She was playing video games with our daughter. Seeing me, my daughter called out excitedly, "Dad, come join us, let's beat Mom together." Back then, Megan would always tickle our daughter until she giggled uncontrollably, then come after me. Our home was filled with laughter. Now, Megan just coughed gently, rubbing our daughter's head. "Dad's been out all day. He's tired. How about next time?" "Okay." "Mom, when will you stop traveling so much?" Megan thought for a moment and softly replied, "Soon," before urging our daughter to bed. After a day at the coffee shop, I didn't have the energy for small talk. I reminded her to lock up if she left. She said she'd promised our daughter to stay with her tonight. I didn't say more. After entering my room, as the door closed, I heard Megan's phone ring. She answered, repeating something a few times. Finally sounding a bit impatient, I told you I'm home just to be with Gina. What are you afraid of? He and I have an agreement for divorce. How many times do I have to say it? We aren't sharing a room. I heard Megan hang up. Then she knocked on my door. Julian, something came up at work. I need to head back. I'll find time to be with our daughter tomorrow. I didn't open the door, just said, okay. My voice wasn't too loud or too soft, just enough for her to hear outside. Before she even left, I got a notification about a $5,000 transfer to our daughter's bank card. The note said it was for taking Gina out for something nice tomorrow. I didn't reply to her. I just opened my laptop to check the coffee shop's plans. Then, a message from an unknown contact popped up. No words, just a smiley face emoji. The profile picture was just a bouquet. The account was practically empty, no posts, no activity. I couldn't even remember adding this person. I scrolled through our old messages and realized they were from 2 years ago. Just as I was trying to remember who it was, a new message came in. Feeling proud, right? In a snap, I knew it was Owen. But wait, hadn't Owen only joined Megan's company 6 months ago? Then why had he had my contact for 2 years already? That thought made my stomach drop. Had he been watching my life from the shadows all this time? I took a sharp breath and replied with just a question mark. His response came fast. No matter what you do, I can make her come over instantly. Yeah, no doubt about it, now it was him. Which also meant Megan had known Owen for at least 2 years. Maybe even longer. Then Owen sent a photo. When I opened it, my hands went cold. It was Megan, topless, asleep in a hotel bed, a man's hand on her chest. In the bottom right corner, a date, 20-3-16. I felt bile rise up. February 16, 2023. That was the day my dad had his first surgery after falling ill. Megan had told me she was crazy busy all month, traveling for work, postponing meetings just to be there for me. She'd spend every possible moment on video calls with me, soothing me, telling me it was going to be okay. When I couldn't sleep from worry, she stayed on the call with me through the night. On the morning of the 16th, she told me she could only sneak away for a few hours to be with me outside the surgery room, but apparently, in that jam-packed schedule, she still found time for a quickie with Owen. And then she came back to me and looked me in the eye as if nothing had happened. I couldn't breathe. Seeing I hadn't replied, Owen seemed to enjoy himself even more. He sent several more photos, each with neat little timestamps. Our wedding anniversary, our daughter's birthday. Every time she had spent her first moments with Owen, then came home to me and Gina. The disgust was overwhelming. It swallowed the pain whole. I'd thought Megan had only grown distant over the last 6 months, like she'd gotten bored with our peaceful life, or maybe found true love in middle age. But no, the rot had been there from the start. I went to the bathroom, splashed cold water on my face, then sat at my computer and saved every single piece of evidence. I knew why Owen felt so bold. The divorce settlement, $20 million, still wasn't fully paid. Megan had sent $8 million in the past 2 weeks, but there was still $12 million left. She'd said it would take time. The house and car were in my name, fully paid off. Our agreement was clean and simple, no fights, no mess, as long as she stuck to it. If I blew up now, it'd hurt her company, sure, but it'd also hurt Gina. Megan probably expected me to react when she admitted to cheating, but I've always been about keeping it classy. I wasn't going to storm her office and lose my temper. That's what threw Owen off. Not only was I not making a scene, I wasn't even confronting Megan. He knew whoever lost control first lost, but here's the strange part: he'd managed to stay hidden for years, even fooled everyone at the company for 6 months. So why crack now? We were just 2 weeks from signing the divorce papers. Why start this fight now? Just because Megan came over to visit Gina? I checked the time, it wasn't too late. I called Nigel. He was out having dinner with some colleagues, and they were already gossiping about Megan and Owen. We swapped stories, and I learned something new. 2 weeks ago, Megan got drunk at an event. Some handsome CEO personally drove her home and had even asked her out privately a few times afterward. And since I hadn't dropped by the office this week with her afternoon tea, rumors started that Megan and I were fighting. Word spread that she was going to be single again soon. Cue the flood of eager guys trying to make a move. That's when Owen started losing his cool. "Julian, you're such a great guy, really," Nigel told me. I didn't want to hide this from you. Don't be upset. Megan's gorgeous and sharp, sure, but she's a piece of work. You'll meet someone amazing. Heck, forget women for now, your caffey's gonna blow up. Then you can think about women. He made me laugh, even though my chest was heavy. I thanked him and told him I'd keep moving forward. By the time we hung up, it was past midnight. My calendar reminder glowed. 14 days till the divorce. Thanks to Nigel, I got it now. Owen's been pushing Megan to take him to the general office so he can lock in his position. But now that others are circling Megan, he feels threatened, like his cooked goose might fly away. He's scared. Tonight's stunt making Megan leave Gina to go back to work was just another flare of insecurity. He thought sending me those photos would make me blow up at Megan, so she'd see me as the problem and pull back from other men. Before tonight, I had no intention of getting involved. But since he insists on being disgusting, fine, I'll grant him his wish. I didn't block him. I didn't mute him. First thing the next morning, I asked Megan out to dinner. She was surprised, but agreed. I picked the same restaurant where she'd celebrated my birthday all those years ago, back when we were in college. It used to be a tiny stir-fry place. Now it had doubled in size and was thriving. Her flashy luxury car parked outside looked completely out of place in the old alley. Back then, that restaurant was the best she could afford. She'd worked countless part-time shifts just to buy me a watch and treat me to that dinner. I looked at her, now polished in a tailored suit, and thought about that sincere, smiling girl who had long since faded away. I didn't book a private room. I sat us by the street, where the sunlight was warm. Neither of us said much at first. After ordering, she carefully rinsed my chopsticks and bowl in hot water. While eating, she kept complaining the taste was off. She even called the boss over. Turned out his dad was still the chef. She looked a little surprised, but didn't comment further. I had the spicy stir-fried pork, and it tasted just like before. I joked, "You've changed." "Really?" she asked. "Of course. Over the years, you've tried so much, eaten so much. This little restaurant's nothing special anymore. But to me, it's the same as it's always been." She paused, went quiet for a while, then said, "Julian, I'm sorry." I gave a small, wry smile. "People move on. I'm learning that from you." She tried gently. "You've got nothing you want to ask? Would you even tell me if I did?" I said, "Would you admit that while my dad was in surgery, you were with Owen?" "Megan, you'd never say it." She went silent, sighed softly, then asked if I needed something. I kept my voice even. Told her I needed some cash and asked if she could send the remaining 12 million soon. Her expression softened. "Julian, even if you're just asking for money today, I'm happy. I didn't think that after all these years, I'd move forward. And you'd still be here. I'll send you the money promptly. If you need anything, just ask." After she left, I paid the bill and sent a thank you bonus to the owner for helping me with a small favor earlier. He'd told Megan the truth that although his dad was still the chef, other cooks worked in the kitchen now. The stir-fried pork? Not made by her dad. Similar taste, but definitely not the same. It was normal for her to notice something different. I just wanted her to feel that little jolt of superiority, that she'd moved on. While I still remembered the past, when she softened up, it'd be easier to negotiate terms. After leaving the restaurant, I headed to a private studio I'd contacted the night before. They'd messaged me that afternoon it was ready. They handed me a dossier. Owen's dossier. Age, 41. Married. With kids, 1, age 12. His wife works in a factory in the neighboring city. Besides that, Owen's main contact over the past 2 years had been with his brother, and his brother even knew about Megan. Honestly, I was floored when I saw this info. I'd always known Owen's age, but at work he claimed he was divorced. Turns out, not only was he married, but he already had a kid. And the kicker, he's still not divorced. I asked the head of the private studio if the dossier was legit. He gave me this smug okay gesture. "You can count on me," he said. "Just nod, and I can send it right away. No need," I told him. I hadn't dug this up to warn Megan. In fact, I was hoping Owen could keep hiding his wife, at least until my divorce was done. I'd underestimated him. I thought he was just trying to pull Megan into the spotlight as his side chick. But nope, this was a long con. A romance scam 2 years in the making, and he'd almost pulled it off. There's no way he'd let anyone else swoop in now. I circled the date on my calendar. 13 days until the divorce. When the remaining 12 million hit my account, I was knee-deep in the soft opening of my coffee shop. I'd tweaked the interior style a bit, set up some coupon promos, and so far it was running pretty well. A friend asked if buying everything outright at once was risky. I told them business is never perfectly smooth. Unexpected things happen. There are ups, there are downs. Who knows how long the good run lasts? I'd rather get it all done at once than deal with monthly payments. They nodded. Makes sense. What's in your hand is what's real. Even Nigel stopped by during his break for a coffee. He said Megan had just landed a big deal and was busy negotiating. Owen had shown up at work with a designer bag, acting all modest. Clearly, Megan was smoothing him over with gifts. But Owen's patience was just an investment. He wanted more, that seed Megan planted years ago. Maybe it was about to be harvested. Like that day at the restaurant with Megan while we were eating, I saw Owen lurking outside at the corner. That night, he sent me even more provocative pictures, this time boldly showing half his face. I'd already packed everything up, ready to send it to his wife as soon as I had that divorce certificate in hand, after sorting the files. My doorbell rang. When I opened the door, there he was, Owen. His hair dyed, wearing the same cologne I use. The moment the door opened, he was all provocation. Julian, sorry, Megan's household register got left here. I'm here to pick it up. He tried to step inside. I blocked him. When Megan and I agreed to divorce, she took the register with her. Oh, really? Maybe Megan got it wrong. He smirked. Honestly, I also came to see you. Megan doesn't know, but do I? You're using retreats to your advantage, tempting people. Really? I asked. So you think hanging around my circle for 2 years means you know me? He chuckled, pushed my hand away, and glanced around the room. Julian, I thought, you didn't care. Not long after Megan left, you changed the place. Afraid you'd get upset? Just then, my daughter woke from the noise and called out, Dad, is Mom here? Owen gave this low chuckle. Gina, I'm Owen. Your mom's in a meeting. She won't be back today. Tomorrow? Maybe not either. I ignored him, clenched my fist, and went in to comfort my daughter. She looked up at me, a little hurt. I promised her a trip to the amusement park tomorrow and told her to sleep early. When I came out, Owen was still in my living room, sipping wine like he owned the place. I knew exactly what he was up to. In a few days, it would be Megan's mom's birthday, a trip we'd always made together. Megan had even called me earlier, asking if I could go again this year, but Owen didn't want me there. Megan's family home is far, even after her parents moved into town. Going would stir up old memories, and he was scared of that. He wanted me provoked so he could bad-mouth me to Megan. Perfect timing, really. I'd been looking for a clean excuse to turn Megan down after getting the 20 million. I walked right up to him, looked down, and slapped him hard. He laughed. Nothing special. So your usual indifference is fake, huh? How does it feel, losing a girl to me? I took his wine cup, grabbed his collar with one hand, covered his mouth with the other, and dragged him toward the door. He struggled, but I threw him out. Owen, you got what you wanted. Go ahead, complain to Megan. And if that's not enough, I can punch you again. He pointed at me angrily. You're crazy. He rolled up his sleeves like he was about to charge, but I pulled out my phone and started recording. His expression changed. He grabbed his phone and called Megan. I glanced at the date. Calm, anticipating the end of this little drama. 10 days. Until the divorce. Megan called soon after, her voice tense with annoyance. She asked why I'd hit him. Even if Owen was wrong, just throw him out next time, she said. Making a scene like this complicates things if Owen doesn't settle privately and calls the police. I laughed. Let him. He trespassed first, then acted immorally. Doesn't a mistress expect to get hit when they show up to provoke? He even tried to upset our daughter, hinted you wouldn't have time for her. Megan, our daughter is my bottom line. My hope and yours too. I hung up before she could answer. Then I texted her, turning down the trip to her hometown. I felt relieved. Right after, my private studio guy called. Owen had just phoned his wife, saying he'd give her some money and get a divorce. They were planning to finalize it next week, robbing Peter to pay Paul. Sooner or later, he was going to come up short. Looked like he was pushing Megan to close the deal fast. The studio head and I sighed. Owen's a piece of work. Can't stick to one thing. 2 years circling Megan, and just when it counts, he shakes things up. He kept going with his analysis. Maybe he never felt the heat before. Laying low was exciting. But now, with Megan about to make a move and better guys around, he's nervous. I sipped my coffee. Maybe, after that day, Owen's alt account stopped messaging me. Nigel swung by for coffee with some news. Owen had gone as Megan's secretary to her mom's birthday. When he came back, he'd toned down a lot. Looked like Megan had given him some reassurance. Nigel asked what I thought. "It's fine," I said. He stared. "Really? Some homewrecker taking over?" I nodded. "She found her karma in the crowd." "That's fair. Today was the grand opening of the newly revamped cafe, so I posted the milestone online. Circled the date, 5 days to divorce. I got so wrapped up in opening prep that I barely looked at my phone. Later, scrolling through messages, I saw Megan had sent her congratulations earlier. I deleted it and scheduled our divorce meeting. It took a while, but she replied, "Want to talk it over?" After the paperwork, I messaged her back. There was a long pause, then her okay. 10 a.m. I said next. Cool. Outside, nothing had changed. Inside, the decor had a fresh start, a little hope. I packed away all the photos Owen had sent me. 2 days until divorce. The day came. Megan arrived half an hour late. Quick small talk, then we signed. Holding the divorce papers, she looked off for a moment, then quickly masked it. Invited me to lunch. "No," I said. "Got things to do." I didn't look back at her. Outside, I mailed all of Owen's photos to his wife. A month went by in a blink. Nigel dropped in again. "You posted the divorce on your social media," he said. Captioned it, "Feels like a dream. 2 more months now." He'd brought snacks. Planning to stress eat after quitting, but now I don't have to. "You enjoy them." I made him coffee. "What's the good news?" He grinned. "No more Owen breathing down my neck. Just last week he hinted about making it official with Megan. I even had my resignation letter ready. Then today, some woman stormed into the office, clawing at Owen, yelling he was cheating, asking where Megan was, saying she's a homewrecker. At first, everyone tried to stop her. Then she pulled out a bunch of nasty photos. Everyone backed off. Megan stayed in her office. Later, her secretary claimed the woman faked the pics and she got booted. Some folks had tailed her, probably to hash things out. Looks like Megan's not marrying Owen anymore. She hates feeling like she's been played, and coupled with the scandal, it hit her hard. Despite all her damage control, the other company caught wind of everything and trashed her reputation, even pulling down her endorsement images. She paid off Owen's wife to come clean and apologize for the fake accusations. Owen quit too. Rumor has it he's divorced now, and his ex walked away with a pretty penny. Megan came by a couple of times to see the kid. She looked exhausted. Sometimes she'd hint at staying for dinner, but I wasn't having it. At the door, she hesitated. "Julian, any chance for us to start over?" I just shut the door in her face. Every call from a friend these days turns into some kind of blind date offer. I always politely decline. Right now, making money feels far more reliable. "Julian, you've got to keep faith in love," they urge. I'm not exactly disappointed, just impartial. Not long after, a friend brought this classy woman into my cafe. We had a brief, pleasant introduction. We're both busy bees, so we hardly talk. My friend kept getting anxious. "Julian, you're not into this gem?" I chuckled. "Just tied up." My friend sighed. I went back to crunching numbers for opening another shop. Half a year later, that woman posted her marriage certificate online. I quietly liked it. Turns out, her company is now a regular at my cafe, and her husband's hooked on my blend. They say he won't drink anything else. I'm thrilled at the big new client. Then Megan hit another rough patch. I heard Owen was looking lost and popped into her office. It started normal. He asked about lunch, then suddenly whipped out a knife in front of investors, pressing her for wedding plans. He went on a rampage, smashing up furniture and scaring the investors away. Nigel said it was wild. Megan was furious and called the cops on Owen. She barely had things settled when Owen's brother and his crew showed up, demanding answers. Megan used cash to calm things down, but with Owen's younger brother being such a punk, she guessed there's no telling when it'll end. After all, he's had a taste of the good life now. Just a few days in, quite a few people quit, mostly because they didn't want any trouble falling on them by accident. Life's precious, after all. Nigel's looking to switch jobs too. He mentioned that after everything went down, some companies started offering good salaries to Megan's heartbroken coworkers. He laughed, saying his new job pays pretty well. "Julian, this really fits that saying the one who loses always has riches escaping from his grasp. I remembered when Megan and I had just gotten married that first year. She bought this little trinket that promised wealth if you listened to your husband. She kept it in her office. I can't remember exactly when, but it got broken one day, and she never replaced it, and now I can't even clearly picture Megan's face in my mind anymore. Nigel looked at me, hesitant and nosy. Julian, aren't you curious how Megan and Owen hooked up? I answered honestly. I used to be curious, but I figure even if it wasn't Owen, it would have been someone else. Whatever happened back then, it just served as an excuse for her to cheat after seeing Nigel off. And just before closing the shop, Megan arrived. Her clothes were a bit wrinkled, and she smelled of alcohol. She looked rough, and her voice was hoarse. Julian, could I have a glass of water? I had someone bring her the water. Not long after, the shop closed. She followed me to my car and asked if she could see the kids. Sorry, she's at my mom's today and won't be back soon. You can visit her according to the agreement. She looked pale, coughed a few times, and called out to me. Julian, I messed up. I'm sorry. I'm not a good person. I wronged you and our daughter. Could you forgive me? If we could start over, I'd put all the assets under your name. I shook my head at Megan. She stepped forward, clutching the car door and breathing heavily. I swear if there's a next time, I'll leave with nothing. I was really drunk, caught up in the moment, feeling like life was just too bland. I never thought you'd actually agree to the divorce when I brought it up. I thought you'd be mad, yell at me. I was being stupid, not appreciating the good life we had. But I really do love you, Julian. Megan, I interrupted. I have a lot of things to do and no time for this. Whether you're trying to calm investors by talking to me or you genuinely regret something, it doesn't matter to me. What matters is you're a part of my past now. Her lips pressed together, turning white as she tried to speak again. I cut her off, annoyed. Megan, let's just leave it at that. If I say more, it'll be impolite. She suddenly fumbled for her phone. Julian, I know you won't forgive me, but I swear the first time with Owen was a mistake. This is my private account. It has all the records of our life together, and later, my infidelity. She kept talking rapidly, scrolling through, and I caught glimpses of photos she had secretly taken of me, each one with words of affection. Then she started talking about how she got too busy with work, worrying about the company's future. I turned away, ready to drive off. Megan hastily tossed her phone into my car. When I got home, I casually tossed her phone aside and went to wash up. When I came back, the phone was still lit. It must have been set to never lock. I stared at the screen for a moment, then pressed the power button, tossed it in the trash, and sat down at my computer to plan new coffee shop locations. As for Megan and me, I just hope from here on we never meet, never remember, and never waste another second on each other.